This is the Couples Corner. The Couples Corner. This is the Couples Corner. With Team Evans. This is the Couples Corner. The Couples Corner.
The Couples Corner with Team Bevins of I Still Do Ministries every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is another episode, and today you will get some good information, some great nuggets, and some tools to strengthen your relationship. The Couples Corner with Team Bevins.
This is the Couples Corner.
All right. Party people, how y'all feeling tonight? Welcome to the Couples Corner. We are Team Bevins. I am Marcus, and this is my beautiful wife,
Cherie.
and we are happy to be back in the Couples Corner with you all tonight. So for those of you who are new to the Couples Corner, welcome. Whether you are with us on Mixed Station Live or if you are with us by social media, you are definitely welcome, and we appreciate you being a part of the conversation tonight. So won't you go ahead and share this with some people, invite some people to the conversation so that we can enjoy ourselves tonight. All right. We have a pretty touchy subject tonight that we're going to deal with, and we need your input, to help us out, and we can make this conversation get to going the way it needs to go. We are excited about you all, and we thank you all for continuously supporting the Couples Corner and what we're doing. We like the feedback that you all give, the comments, the input that you share. It's always greatly appreciated, and we enjoy the fellowship, the time. And listen, we want you to know that people are blessed by what you share, what you say. They are getting some insight, some information, some nuggets that they can use. And of course, we understand that we are not the only people who are sharing information. It's a gathered scenario. It's not dictation. We're not just here talking to you all, but it's a conversation. You all have input that you share that helps us and helps all of the other people that tune in and watch or listen. And so we're grateful for that. So we don't want you all to stop that. And we, want you, of course, to be a part of the conversation. And so we're grateful for that. So we're going to pray, and then we're going to jump into our topic tonight. So let's pray. Father, we thank you. We praise you for another opportunity to gather together. We thank you for allowing us to be in the Couples Corner again tonight. And we pray, Lord, that every person that's in the Couples Corner tonight, that they will be able to get the information that they need, that would be able to help them to gain strength and to gain longevity, oh God, to get tools that they can use so that we can have success in our relationships. We thank you for everything that you're showing us, that you're teaching us. We thank you for the experiences that we've had and how they've built character and how they've given us integrity and how they've taught us things that we can use and help us to not be stingy, and that we will be able to share what we know and the knowledge that we've gained from our experiences and from our studies, that we would be able to understand who it is that you've called us to be and what you designed marriage to be, so that we can be the examples of that here on the earth. We thank you and we praise you, and we look forward to what you're going to do tonight with us and through us tonight in the Couples Corner. We love you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so tonight we are talking about dress for success. And that's a loaded situation, and we're going to unpack it. And, of course, like we said, we want you all to chime in and to share, what you have, so that we can be able to take the conversation to the next level. So, again, you are always welcome to call in and to share your questions or your comments. And that is at 1-855-493. Come on.
6499.
6499. I like it. 1-855-493-6499. So you can call with your questions, with your comments, and be a part of the conversation. And that's what we, want to share tonight. So we're talking about dress for success. And, it's one of those things where, my wife and I, we were talking about it a little earlier. Well, actually a couple days ago, and then some more again today. And it sparked because I realized that as a man, men, we oftentimes have what they label a double standard sometimes when it comes to dress. And what I mean by that, is that we don't mind looking at a woman that's dressed real sexy and that's dressed real enticing and all of that, but we don't want our woman to leave the house looking like that. And so because of that, that sends mixed messages to the woman, because when she's trying to pick out something in the store, or she picks it out and say she want to wear this, and you're like, oh no, you ain't wearing that, or where you going, or who you trying to, you give all that. But then when you with her, she see your eyes checking out somebody that's dressed in something that would be considered sexy or revealing, or I don't want to use some of the terms that may not so be, they may not be so endearing, skimpy or whatever the case that you want to call it, but skimpy.
Nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah, right. So at the end of the day, they're trying to figure out, okay, I'm watching you watch her, and she's got on something that I wouldn't mind wearing, but you don't want me to come out the house, but you can't seem to get your head turned away from her, but I can't wear it. And so that sparked a conversation with us that and then also another piece to it, and then we'll kind of peel back some of the layers and walk it. But the other piece to that is, like I explained to her, that there's a difference, because we don't usually, for men, we're visual. And of course, with women, we see more body parts than what women see of men. Now you might see his physique, you might see, how he's shaped or whatever, but we're seeing breasts, we're seeing booty, we're seeing thighs, we're seeing all of those things that can come through your clothes. And now, unless you're doing some hard staring, or he got on the wrong type of stuff, you're really not seeing his package unless you're really doing some examinations. So, because of that, you see these things and it draws your attention. So, likewise, a man will say, oh, that's sexy, when, of course, we've talked about this before, the root word of sexy is sex. So if it's sexy, it's because it provokes some form of sex. Now, there's a difference in looking nice and being sexy. So if you think that a woman looks sexy, it's because to some degree she's portraying or selling to you, in your mind, sex. And so how do we deal with that? Because as a married person, when you leave the house, although you want to look good and you want to feel good, what are you representing when you leave? Are you representing you, or are you representing y'all? So again, I'm throwing a whole bunch of things out that we're going to have to unpack. Are you representing you, or are you representing y'all? Because some of the things that people see will determine the type of conversation that they're going to have with you. Some of the things that people see will determine the type of perception that they will have of you. So if a man sees you and he thinks that you are dressed sexy, because there's a difference in dressing sexy and just being sexy. So are you being sexy just because it's natural, or are you enhancing it because you done spanked, you done pushed up, you done a whole bunch of things to try to, kind of force the issue or help the issue? So again, we're trying to figure this out. What would dressing for success in marriage look like? And again, there's no, necessarily one answer that's like, this is right, this is wrong. This is all about perception, and hopefully the dialogue and the conversation will help others be able to see a different perspective than the one that they see. Because again, men are visual, and because we're visual, if you show up with something on that's revealing, you got the dress on that got, the midriff is cutting low, and you got all your cleavage out. If you got your booty pow and banging and coming all out your dress, you can't think that nobody is going to look.
Well, some people can't help it, but
so it's not scarf around yourself. But if that is the case, right? If that is the case, because these are all things that we want to kind of deal with as a man. How do you feel? Because some people, kind of live under the notion that as long as you are with me, you can dress as sexy as you want because you're with me. But if you're not with me, then I don't want you dressing like that because I'm not there to defend or protect or what have you. Some people are of the notion it don't matter. You know, that's just who you are. That's what I like. And that's what I want you to represent me as when you go out, whether I'm with you or I'm not. Some people are like, whether you with me or you not, I don't want you showing nothing because I don't want nobody looking at my lady like that. And again, as you see, majority of this is one-sided because, you know, you're not really hearing too many, you know, stories. You have some of the stigmas and some of the jokes that, you know, may go on about the gray sweatpants and the little things like that. But, they, you know, most times, because I asked my wife this question,
oh, gosh.
when does a man become sexy? You know what I mean? Is it what does that? We know what we kind of categorize it with the woman when we're talking about attire. But what is it about a man that makes a man sexy? Is it because he's neat? Because neat is not a style. It's not like whether you're dressed up or you're dressed down, whether it's jeans or khakis or slacks or sweatpants, it's shorts. But if it's neat and it's being well put together, well thought out, and then it's like, okay, I see how they put some time and effort and energy into that, and that's nice. And so what is the definition of sexy from the woman looking at the man? We know what it is from the man looking at the woman. So these are all some of the things that we got to unpack tonight. And so, again, we're talking about dressing for success in marriage. So I just want to kind of throw it all out there so we can kind of, you know, get it going. And so I'm a you know, toss it over to my wife so she can decide where we're going to start with all this peeling.
And to my favorite people, which are, for those of you who are new tonight, which are the engaged people, seriously dating people, because some of y'all are not engaged yet. I want you to really listen up and really think about this, because once you get married, this can be traumatic to your relationship, because all of a sudden, you know, women, the skirts that you used to wear or the slack size that you used to wear may not be acceptable to your husband anymore, because you're not always with him, you're leaving out, you're doing whatever, and he feels some kind of way. Now, to me, I feel like part of that could be a trust issue.
Okay.
Even if you haven't done anything to make them not trust you. But, again, we're talking about dressing for success. And are you dressing for the success of your relationship, of your marriage? And right now we're talking about clothes. But are you dressing for the success of it? Meaning, what are you, and this goes both ways. What are you creating when you go outside of the house, or when you're leaving? Are you and your spouse in agreement? And some of y'all may not even care. Some of y'all may be like, I don't care because this is what I've been wearing, or, you know, whatever. But are you in agreement, or is this causing an issue in your relationship because you're like, no, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to post. And these selfies y'all take too. Okay. Men, because men take selfies too. Indeed. And not just women. So I'm talking about men too. All these selfies you taking and all of that stuff, and how you're taking them. It's not a selfie. It's how you're taking it. Yes, what you're showing when you're taking it. So, and hey, again, there's no right or wrong answer, because every relationship is going to be, there's going to be a set. You have something different than Team Bevins would have. But we just want to spark this conversation, and we want you to think about this, because as we started talking about last week, different things that, you know, well, I'll just use us, for example, that, you know, certain things that I feel like if I put it on and go out the house, which I may have done a million years ago when we wasn't dating, or when we were dating, that it won't be okay. Y'all better pray. And it won't be okay, because I just always feel like Marcus just wants me to be homey. and you know, and listen, I ain't concerned about him looking at somebody else. That's whatever. That's a given. I'm going to look at other people too. That's a given. If y'all got that struggle in your marriage, call me later. We can talk about that. Send me an inbox. Send me something, because we can talk about that. Because that, for real, that, your husband, a man is a man and a woman is a woman. So if you going to tell me you go out here and you don't never look at a man, something ain't right. Now, the way you look is a little different than a man.
Right.
You know, a man, they can't help it. Like, they got to turn around. They got to wait till he walk past and go. Like, they crazy sometimes. But the way we look, we still look. We still get the whole thing from head to toe. But the thing is, how I feel is that, you know, you like this certain thing, but for me to do it, we haven't, not necessarily issue, because he really ain't, but you just would be rather not. When that may not be how he feels, you know, and I'll let him explain, but that's not how you met me. You know, I'm totally different dressed than how he met me now.
Right.
From how he met me.
Right.
So we have a caller. We're gonna take the caller.
All right.
I'm so grateful for you. I hope.
Caller, welcome to the show. How you feeling tonight?
I feel good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. What can you add to the conversation?
Well, I went through this situation. Well, I'm going through it now. So my husband and I, we had weight loss surgery. So we have this big party that comes up in December. It's called a weight loss reveal. So I wanted to wear this special dress because I felt like, you know, I had lost all this weight and I wanted to show it off. So I'm actually crocheting the dress. But because I'm married, I actually went to my husband and told him what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I asked his permission. Did he feel comfortable with me wearing this dress? You know, and I said, you know, I'm going to make the dress. You know, it's not revealing, but it's a sexy dress. But I did not want to wear it without his approval. Or, you know, and him being comfortable because he also had surgery, but he's not going to the party. I'm going by myself. So he did approve of the dress. But if he hadn't, I would not have worn it, and it would not have been an issue. And I know a lot of women be like, well, you know, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Come on, right.
But
that's good.
I feel like in marriage, sometimes I see women now, they want that, well, I'm still going to do what I want to do. But when you marry, it's just not all about you anymore. You are a team, and you have to operate as a team. And because I love and respect my husband as much as I do, I always want, just like we want God to be pleased with us, I want my husband to be pleased with me.
Right.
I want him to be satisfied with me in all points. With the way I dress, the way I represent him, the way I talk about him. You know,
that's good.
I could be wrong, but, you know, and they said that, you know, well, I'm 50 now, you know, so I got, you know, and these are things that came with age. It had to come with age. And it also came with, you know, going through some bad relationships. And I call them practice because that bad relationship taught me to appreciate this right man.
Yeah.
So when you say, you know, what should a woman wear when she go out, I would say it is all about representation.
Yes.
I don't think I'm not saying we don't have to dress like none, but just truly represent him, or even better, put him in your shoes. How would you feel?
Yes, that's good.
That's good. That's real good.
So you know, I'm old-fashioned, but I feel that old-fashioned is what's keeping my marriage strong.
And I was just about to say that. I feel that old-fashioned keeps us going a long way.
It does.
And I agree with that. And congratulations to you on your surgery and maintaining your weight loss.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Okay, good night.
Thank you for your input and for sharing. We definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate listening. Thanks.
All right. And so that's some...
Bye-bye.
Go ahead.
So this is good. This is good what she just said. She brought up a lot of things to me. But that's good that you and that's good because I normally do that too. And that's probably why I dress like a nun now. Because he wants me to be a nun. No, just joking. But if I even think that he is like, then I won't. But there are so many things. And so because of that, when me and him go out and we do, you know, and I'm gonna use the example of the, you know, Valentine's Day this year, I had on this red dress and everybody was kind of like, but I wasn't because I know that I'm good with it. You know, as long as I like it, I'm good with it. I don't care what it's showing. I'm good with it because I know who I am. I'm going to be married and always be loyal and respect my husband. So, you know, people might have been shocked, like, oh, she got that out. She got that leg out. She got that shoulder out. But that's okay for me. You know, I'm shocked when I'm covered. No, I'm joking. So, but if he did not approve of that, you know, and I have a wonderful person that, you know, I purchased my stuff from, and she helps to style me a lot, Chantal Styles, and she knows that if, you know, me and her could both love it, but we be like praying to the Lord, you know, if Marcus doesn't like it, then we got to find something else. So I agree with that. I agree with wearing what your husband likes. And I also think that, you know, Marcus is bringing up a point to me that it's weird that, yes, you look at things, but then you don't want your wife to wear them when they're not with you. And so he's going to expound on that later. But you also brought up a point, Carla, about weight loss surgery changing. And so that's great that y'all did it together. But there are some people out here who have not done this together. Mm-hmm. And if you think for a second that somebody went through all of that healing and changing and feeling better about themselves to wear the same size clothes or to look the same, I think that although we change physically, we have to change mentally, and our spouses have to change with us.
Right.
It's a mental thing, and even some people that have weight loss surgery are not, you know, don't quickly change to, oh, I can wear this now. Sometimes they're still wearing stuff that, like, no, you don't have to dress like that, or you don't have to do that anymore. So, and it's a mental thing. Even when even without the surgery, when you just lose weight, like Marcus is losing weight now, and it's mental. I had to tell him, like, you don't need a 3X shirt. You don't need it. You know, we have one of our daughters is the same way. She's lost a lot of weight, and she still wants to wear all these big things. But getting back to my point is, if one spouse has done this and the other hasn't, the one who hasn't, your mindset has to change, I believe. Now, I know every marriage is different, and yes, you're still going to want to please your spouse, but your spouse did not do this to still wear trash bags around. Let me just say, you know, big clothes, or, you know, if they got down to a large, they're going to wear clothes that are large, and they're going to specifically fit their shape now, and not be just full. So I hope that we can change that. Yes, I hope that we can change, you know, that spouses can change to mentally understand that it's not trying to be sexy. It's not, even if your husband did it, it's not trying to, I'm trying to be all sexy and have a whole lot of swag for it. No, it's just that mentally they've done something, and mentally you both have to change to accept what's going on now.
Right. You
know, and yes, you will get head turns. Yes, because it's a process. No matter what, no matter if it was a weight loss surgery or if it was done naturally through exercise. I'm not gonna say weight loss surgery. Well, surgery isn't natural, but y'all still have to do some things. You still have to learn how to eat different. You still have to lose weight before you get the surgery if you went to the proper doctor. You still have to maintain this after you get the surgery. So you're still doing it natural as well with a little added help. So, but there are some things mentally that you have to change about how people are going to respond to you. Right. About how people are going to respond to your spouse. So you cannot be fearful or be like, oh no, you can't wear that, when you know they just went through all of these things. Now, of course, I can't tell you what to do in your relationship, but I'm just trying to help some relationships. Mm-hmm. And the comment said, yes, he's going through that. I have to hide his big clothes. Yes, because it's mental. You have to really realize, like, oh, I don't have to do that. Like, matter of fact, let's throw them away, because sometimes the problem is we keep this stuff around and
you want to go back to it.
We easily go back to it. You know, we keep this stuff around. We know you don't need to wear that 4X anymore. You're now a medium. Let's just have medium and large clothes around just in case, you know, gain a little 10 pounds or something. And that's it. Because as long as you see that, your mind will keep you going, keep you there. So, I know I got off on a whole nother rant, but I just agree with her. I agree with that, and I agree with making sure that your spouse is in agreement with what you're wearing. But I still, we still have this question of, although you're dressing for the success of your marriage, sometimes with a woman, the way they dress kind of changes a little bit as their husband starts to feel like, I don't want you to go out there looking like that, or I don't want you to, go out there. And I know for me, and it may not be for y'all, that some things, some outfits or some skirts or something that I would have worn before, I choose not to. And sometimes I don't even ask because I don't like rejection and I don't like to be told no. So I just say, this is safe. Let me wear what's safe when it's not necessarily what I would choose all the time. Go ahead.
let's bring another aspect into the conversation, and this is because in some instances, what you wear has the potential to make you change how you act.
Definitely.
And so, some people, you catch them in a sweatsuit and they got one walk. You catch them in something that they feel sexy in, and they have another walk. And so, of course, depending on what you have on has the potential to boost your confidence or to make you feel some kind of way or whatever. But does that play a part in it, in the decision-making process? If because when you put something on and you look good, it's almost like, oh yeah, I know I'm doing this. But at the same token, does that change your behavior? Does it change your character? Does it change the way that you interact, or how you, for lack of a better term, parade when you walk? Because
not parade.
Because
we're too prone to be paraded.
Because you know what you got on, and you know what it looks like, and you know what I'm saying, all of that. Because at the end of the day, just like we talked about earlier, we're married, we're not blind. You know what I'm saying? So my wife is married, but she's not blind. I know it's crazy. I know. But somewhere in this world, there's somebody that looks just as good as her husband. I ain't met him yet. But I know that. I know somewhere. I know somewhere in this world there's somebody that looks as good as her husband. And so I would not be surprised if she ran across somebody that she looked. You know what I'm saying? She's natural. She's married, but she's not dead. And at the same token, how is that conduct going to be when she's looking, and if he decide to look back because he think that she's just as attractive as she thinks he is? You know what I'm saying? Or how does that work when you feel like, you $1 million and you walk in and you see that people are looking, and then the attention that you get, how are you going to handle and respond to that attention? And what is that going to look like if somebody walks up on you and catch you in that moment of you entertaining the attention that you got because of the $1 million that you look like? You know what I'm saying? So like there are a lot of. Go ahead.
Well, you can look like $1 million in the sweatsuit too. You know,
can.
That your freestyle Reeboks is fresh. You good, right? So, and with your sweatsuit fresh, but the fact that I'm saying fresh, does that mean I'm old? Anyway, so I think, guys have tried to talk to me in my uniform.
Right.
So I think that you just have to decide. You just have to know what you got and what they are. Like I said, some women think I'm crazy, but Marcus is going to look. He is going to look at people, and it's not as obvious as it used to be, but he does it. And so what? What am I going to do about it? I just can't. And I'm so honest with y'all. Honestly, like I said earlier, if you got that issue, call me later, because we will have a good talk about this. I'm going to get you out of that, because that's fussing for no reason. Right. But it's not about, of course, when you're going somewhere, when you go, we have been together and people have complimented both of us, so of course, when you're dressed up, you're going to probably get a little bit more attention, and it may not even be the fact of you. It may be just that person is like, oh, wait a minute, that's nice, them shoes nice, whatever.
Right.
But you can get attention any kind of way. And like Indeed. I said, some women, y'all so curvy. I wasn't blessed with that, but y'all are so curvy that no matter what you wear, somebody's gonna say something. And this is how your husband probably met you and got you. So why is it a trust issue? Is it a trust issue? And y'all, please
It
call
very well
in.
could be.
Give your comments, give your questions at 1-855-493-6499. Please call in. We would love to have some dialogue about this. Or if you're with us on Facebook, please type your questions or your comments. But is that a trust issue? You know, I had, you know, prior to a long time ago,
Way back.
prior to dating Marcus, I had relationships where guys were just like, why you got that on? I mean, a simple pair of, back then I used to wear spandex or something like that. But I also was an athlete too. So, you know, got always like, why you got that on? You don't need to wear that. You need a shirt down below. First of all, you know, you're not my husband. At the time, of course, I was just like, oh, this is just too much. But, like, some women are going through this. Some men are going through this too. Mm-hmm. You know,
yeah,
some men are going through this too. Because, honestly,
Amen.
Men are going through this, really. And I know that that's a reality. That your wife is like, oh, what you putting that on for? Oh, why you going to the office in that today? Or, oh. So, is this a trust issue? Is this a trust issue? Is it, whether something has happened before or not, is it a trust issue? Is it you're nervous because of maybe how you've looked, you've gained weight, whatever. That's one thing I can say about Marcus Bevins. He has never, ever, I have been pregnant several times. He's never, ever been like, you need to, why don't you lose that? Or you need to not, you know, that this is a little too much. You know, you was 140 when I met you. Why are you not that? But, you know, there are plenty of people that have that issue. And you may not be able to call in tonight, but I want somebody to call in that may overcome this, or, you know, that has something. Yes, we're going to ask our spouse, you know, about what we should wear. But if your spouse is always saying, no, I don't like that. No. What's the compromise? How do we get through this? What's the communication on this issue? Or is it just a trust issue, and that's what you all need to talk about? Like, listen, no matter what I have on, I'm going to be faithful, loyal, whatever. Or, like I said, when I have my uniform on, anything, people have tried to talk to me. So it's just not, you know, all the time dressed up, or, you know, slacks and a shirt, you know. Right. The fact that I said slacks, does that make me old? So, you know, it's not just that, but, you know, and some of y'all looking real good, you know what I'm saying? Men and women. Some of y'all our friends, y'all look real good. As a couple, y'all look real good when y'all go out by yourself and you represent well. How did you get to that point? You know, everything done, hair did, nails did, everything, you know. So how did you get to that point? Or do you just be like, this gonna be a battle, we gonna fight, because I'm not changing this. You know, one thing that I changed when I got married, and also being in ministry too, probably, but I think sometimes I go overboard, but I loved short skirts, right? But I changed that. Now, I could blame that on Marcus. I don't necessarily know. Is that really his fault or not? But, you know, even now to the point where I'm like, and not sure, like I can't bend over, y'all. Come on. I'm too grown for that. But, like, you know, I thought I had a nice pair of legs, so I showed them. But once I got married, you know, I was like, I can't, you know. Then I was being faithful to church a little bit more than I was being faithful to the club. So I was like, okay, you know, I don't really want Deacon so-and-so keep looking over here like that. You know how a short skirt and some heels, you know what I'm saying? That can do a whole lot for you.
Change your life.
Change your life, you know? Now we got scarves. You know, you sit up the front, you're going to get a scarf, right? Because the reality is, we don't want nobody falling. You know what I'm saying? But another reality is that we're not, when I get dressed for church, well, I dance every Sunday, but when I get dressed, when I actually wear clothes to church, I don't really get dressed for Deacon so-and-so. You know, I get dressed for my husband, for myself, you know, and so, but I don't want them to be giving me that wrong attention. And y'all know what that look like. Hello. You know, but it's also not our fault. And that's what I want to say. It's not always our fault that person is like that. You know, then we want to save them. We wear our scarves, because first of all, we have a man pastor. And second of all, you just want to be representing, you know, the kingdom well. So when you're sitting up there, you know, you don't want to jump and move the wrong way and then we see everything. So, But at the same time, I don't believe the women that we get up and get dressed like, yeah, I'm gonna make such and such, whatever, especially as a married woman. Now, some of y'all might be a little crazy doing that, but you need to get dressed for yourself. You need to love yourself, love what you wear, but you also need to please your spouse. Husbands as well. I hope you're not getting dressed, you know, to go to the office and putting on a certain cologne. You know, kind of with husbands too, it's that cologne, right? With men too, it's that cologne. Right. Like, it's that cologne. That's all I can say right now. On the couples corner, it's that cologne. So, you know, I hope that you're not doing that for somebody in your office or somebody at your job, you know, more than you're doing it for yourself and for your, you know, because we're a little bit more mature. Most of us on here probably are a little bit more mature that, you know, to do things for the attention that you get. We all know how to get attention. I know how to get attention. I'm sure most women and men on here know how to get attention. But when you're getting dressed and you're feeling good about yourself every day, does your spouse also feel good about it? And if they don't, what do we do? What do we do about it? Is this a trust issue? What is it? So one comment says it shouldn't. I can't. We were talking about something and he said that and I meant to say it. And another comment says also when you are very curvy, you can't hide it. And that is true.
And
but you can tastefully dress it.
That's true.
You cannot hide it, but you can tastefully dress it.
And let me say this in defense. Let me say this in defense of some people who experience this kind of stuff. Sometimes it's not your fault, like you had mentioned earlier. Sometimes it's the individual that's looking. They have a look. They have a preference. They have a thing or a desire. Right. They have a desire that they have, and then you just happen to show up fitting the description of, you know, their mental fantasy or whatever you want to call it, you know, and then they are fixated on you when you ain't really done nothing but show up. And you weren't trying to be anything, trying to do anything or whatever. You're always going to have situations and scenarios like that. But the question is, how do you react and respond when those things happen? Because how are you handling the attention that you get? How are you handling the compliments that you get? How are you handling, I don't know if they still whistle, are you handling the whistles that you get? Right, you know what I'm saying? Right, the construction site whistle. You know what I'm saying? So, but how do you handle that, you know, when those types of situations happen? And part of that is because, especially in today's society where microwave mentality is what is running a lot of stuff and a lot of people. So this mentality of we want the quick fix, we want this, that, and the other. You know, everybody want to get rich quick. They want to, you know, they want to boo quick. They want to just a good time without any commitment. You know what I mean? So all kinds of things like that. So you have people, I mean, you can tell them, you know, they like, hey, you look real nice. How you doing? You're like, oh, okay, I'm fine. Well, let me get your number, whatever. Oh, no, I'm married. All right. I mean, that's cool. That's your problem. That's your problem. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? I mean, that's listen, true. I ain't going to bring him up. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't bring him up, then he'll never be talked about. But how are you responding or reacting to that? And does that cause you to think about what you have on? You know what I'm saying? Same thing, vice versa. You know, how does that cause you to react or respond when women are coming at you? You know what I mean? Do you just take it as, oh, that's them? Or do you ever evaluate and say, okay, is it something that I did? Is it something that I wore? Is it something that I said that makes me inviting to this type of, you know, response or all of that? Or is this just, you know, random people just deciding that today everybody won't come out the woodworks? But, and then too, you know, how does it make you feel? Especially when, because, you know, we live in a real world where people, you know, or people that you know are married, or people that you know are in relationships and situations and stuff are looking or commenting and things like that. How do you handle that, and how does that make you feel? Because, you know, just like she mentioned, you know, we did the Valentine's Day, you know, thing, and a lot of people had a lot to say. Some she saw, they were uncomfortable. You know, they made the comments, but they were slightly uncomfortable because it's like, I want to say you look nice, but I don't really know because you look sexy, should I be saying you look nice? Because am I saying that you sexy if I say you look nice? Or, you know what I'm saying? So like, then it could become awkward, and then people don't know how to act or respond or whatever. And then, you know, it's like, you know, thanks, but like, okay, you're weird now, so, you know, move over, slide over the other side or something or whatever. But it's just, you know what I mean? So like, when those types of situations happen, how do you handle that? How do you respond to that? You know, and does it make you, because for some people, is it a permanent imprint, or was this just whenever I wear these shoes, or whenever I wear this dress, or whenever I wear, or after that one incident, is that now a permanent imprint in your mind that, you know, brother so-and-so from the third floor, he got it out for me, or, you know, brother so-and-so that be in the market or at the church or whatever, you know, oh, they sweet on me, now they like me or whatever, or was this just that outfit?
And a lot of times it's our perception of how we take people just saying you look nice, and you just say thank you and keep it moving. And your spouse or your fiance, whoever, this goes both ways, female or male, you know, are like, oh, what they were saying, or what they, and they really don't care. They really just wanted to tell you you look nice and keep it moving. And sometimes, you know, you may have a lack of, you may be upset or whatever because maybe you're lacking in telling your spouse something like they look nice or whatever.
Right.
But also, you know, we perceive certain things, like, you know, we just think it's hard for people to really think like, oh, he just said you look nice, or that looks nice on you,
and that's
it.
It's over.
It's hard to think that then it's over. All he just wanted to let you know was that looks nice today, and you know, nothing else.
Right.
Like, so sometimes we read into these things more, or your spouse is right there, or her, oh, he said it, and or she said it, and now they're reading it more. Now they don't ever want you to wear the color blue anymore. Right. You know, and this is, and you know, and I'm telling you stuff that's real. Yeah. It sounds funny,
yeah,
but it's real.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to wear the color blue anymore because now they like, oh, he said hi to you, you know, you look nice, and how you respond or how you know. And of course somebody tell you look nice, you like, thank you. It feels so good, you know, but right. That doesn't mean you dwell on it. Now, right. I'm sure there are some people out here who are dwelling on it, men and women, but that doesn't mean you dwell on it. And that's why I said this, what we're talking about, dressing for success of your marriage, is going to be a case by case thing, but we just want to spark that conversation up, and we don't want to spark no argument, y'all.
Right.
So cut it out. Don't even argue about it. Talk about it if you can't. Wait till another day. But just that conversation so that you can have an understanding, or to have an understanding of why, you know, just probably last week when me and Marcus were talking about this, I finally got it. Like, he don't want me to be homie. All these years I've been thinking, like, you just want me to look like, and I can't keep doing this. Like, this is not the way. But that's not it. So, you know, when we really had a good conversation about it, I kind of understood a little bit more, maybe not fully, but a little bit more as to what his issues or reasoning are about some things. But he lucks out because I wear a uniform most of these, and I don't like my uniforms tight like some of y'all nurses be doing. I don't know how y'all do that. Amen. Because I got to get on the floor with my patients. I got to do wounds. I can't be like worrying about is my pants gonna rip or something like that. So my uniforms are normally a little flowy, so he doesn't really have to worry about that. But outside of that, I don't want to wear, you know, I've been pregnant 6+ times. I don't want to wear big baggy stuff all the time. I just don't. Right. Sorry, I just don't. It's my preference. But, you know, so in your relationship, you have to see what's going on. So call and talk to us, y'all. Tell us what y'all been doing. What's happened? How you've overcome this. Like the young lady that called in, she overcomes this by asking her husband, just like, are you okay with this? There's a change in how she looks. And how he looks, but how she looks, and there's going to be a change in what she wears. So she is asking, you know, like, are you okay with it? Now, you know, that's dangerous, because what are we going to do with the no? Thank God she got a yes. I'm good. Thank you, Lord. Love you for it. But what are we going to do with the no? Because then you start feeling some kind of way. But I know you just have to communicate about it. However, are there any men that would like to call in and say, you know, what they prefer or why they don't prefer? Or, but if you met your wife like this, or you met your fiance like this, what's the difference now? You can call us at 1-855-493-6499, or you can type your comments or questions on Facebook, and we will be glad to hear it. And the topic, again, for those of you just getting on, is dress for success. And right now we're talking about clothes, and we may not get to nothing else tonight, but right now we're talking about clothes. How are you dressing for the success of your relationship? Are you and your spouse in agreement? You know, and I know even before, you know, we talked about hairstyles. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta ask you about my hair, then you can just have a bald head, Marcus. You know.
Right.
What if I just want the top missing? What?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you.
Like, just
so
crack that
you gotta
sunroof.
Communicate about these things.
Crack that sunroof for me.
It's just, you know, you just gotta know. And if you are working, y'all, if y'all working on your bodies, listen. I just say this. I think that we are beautiful creatures, just period, human beings, period, women, men. I love it all. I just think that, you know, you should enjoy what makes you feel good and looks good on you. You should enjoy it. You should be able to do it. Mm-hmm. But I also think that you should pick your battles in your relationship, and so you should communicate. And that's why the engaged couples, my favorite people, you have a chance now to communicate about this, to decide, you know, what's going to happen. If there's something that he's doing that you don't particularly like because you're not always with him and whatever, then you need to speak on it now, because there's no guarantee that that's going to change when you get married. There's no guarantee if you don't talk about it, or if you talk about it, it's going to change. So you need to lay it on the table now. And I'm grateful for those of you that are engaged or seriously dating, that are listening, or that do listen weekly or play the replay, because you have a chance to talk about these things that come up beforehand. We have a comment that says, the love and security of my relationship is always first. Like, you are on the road tonight. I agree with that wholeheartedly. There are so many people out here that don't, though. Gosh. But I agree with that wholeheartedly, because if your spouse is not secure, they will show. I mean, it will show in different ways.
Right.
And you may not understand, but it's their security that's in question. And so, you know, that should be the first priority, you know, the love and security, and, you know, the agreement and the things that you all do. Because like I said, we can put this on women all the time. And I feel like this: if you're sexy, you're sexy. Bottom line. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of y'all sexy. I wanted to tell y'all, like, y'all, you is nice, right? I don't like women at all, but I appreciate beauty.
Right.
And so I don't have no hang-ups about telling a woman that, or that, you know, whatever. And so, you know, I think that, you know, we have to learn just how to dress ourselves and how to be and how to together get along with what we're wearing as far as our clothes and how we're wearing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a certain way you can wear something. You can probably have a top that you can wear 3 or 4 different days. Different ways. I'm sorry, I started reading something. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
not
3 or 4 different, not 3 or 4 days.
No.
3 or 4 ways, you know. And so, you know, you might be like, all right, if I wear it like this, all right, this is how I really want to wear it, you know. But if I wear it like this, is this cool? If I wear it like that, is that cool? And your husband can give you some feedback. You know, I don't know. I'm just trying to help somebody, you know, because I didn't get help until last week. So, but years on years on years. So, no, that doesn't mean y'all about to see me start tripping. Okay, I'm not going to be taking all these selfies, hold my hand up so y'all can see down into my cleavage that I don't have. But I'm not about to start doing all of that, you know. And sometimes I feel like men and women, whether you're married or not, but we're talking to the married, most married and engaged. When you're doing that, whose attention are you trying to get?
Good.
All right, and now I know nobody really going to come on here and really talk to me for real. But whose attention are you trying to get? Because there are certain posts I make for attention. Because I know people watching. There are certain posts I'm going to make for attention. I know you watching. You're going to say what you're going to say. And it's going to be a good conversation starter or whatever it is. You know, there's sometimes you just post to post. But what attention, who attention are you trying to get? Or, you know, are you trying to show your spouse something that you can just communicate about? So, yeah, that's the question at hand. Is this a trust issue? Can we just communicate? Are you putting your love and security of your relationship first? What are you doing?
And in some cases, it's not, you know, the trust issue factor is not in the spouse, but in the community of people that would betray the trust that the two of you have. So, like, example, there's some things that I'm really not all that keen on my wife wearing out, not because I don't trust her. I have no doubt about the trust in her, but it's the community in which we live in, and I'm not saying community as a neighborhood, but the community that we live in as far as the world today, where people have no regard or no respect for things. So, just like I said, you know, they could try to holler and listen. I expect, here's the thing, you know, I said this to her previously as well. Like, I don't think that anybody is like out here looking for somebody that don't nobody else in the world want. You see what I'm saying? Like, because if don't nobody else in the world want what you got, I'm gonna question, is it good? You see what I'm saying? Like, if nobody else in the world thinks that your man is attractive, or nobody else in the world thinks that your woman is attractive, then, you know what I'm saying? Like, that could be a potential situation. But so I'm expecting people to find my wife attractive. I'm expecting people to find my wife sexy the same way that I do. The challenge is not that I don't trust her, but it's the people that I don't trust. It's the fact that I know many people will bypass what they know exists, whether they know it or she tells them. You know, people could try to holler, and she's like, oh, no, I'm married. And they like, listen, I ain't going to tell them, or it don't really matter, or whatever. It's the same thing vice versa. It doesn't have anything to do all the time with your woman not trusting you as a man. It's sometimes the people that you have to encounter that they may not necessarily trust.
I don't accept a no, I guess.
You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, you know, all right, I told you no. I told you I'm taken. I told you I'm not interested, because that's my stand that I made. But if you're going to keep pressing the issue, you know, then that's something different. And in some cases, you just don't want people looking at your mate a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and like, to put it in perspective, now, there's not a lot of men who really like to go around wearing Speedos. But women, and to put it in perspective, to put it in perspective, women, it's almost like, you know, some things to you that are a full outfit is the equivalent to you having on a two-piece to us, because of what it shows and what it portrays, and not portrays as in you're trying to sell something, but portrays in what it reveals. And because men are visual, what you're revealing, they're seeing more than what you're revealing, because we have the gift to unpeel. So if you are giving me enough to make me drool, then I'm going to unpeel the rest of that little bit that you have on. I'm not going to unpeel. I'm just going to peel. Yeah. I'm going to peel the rest of what you know, of what you have on. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, it's just certain things I don't want people to look at my wife a certain way. You know, and so some of that you can't control, but what you can, you do. And we live in a world that's a little, you know, off. So you want them to be safe as well. Because some people have issues and they can't control themselves, or, you know, they ain't got all the cards. So you got to, you know, work with people where they are. So some stuff is about safety. It's not necessarily about jealousy, or it's not just about, you know, insecurity or any of those things. Because listen, my wife will probably tell you, I'm probably one of the most secure people that you're going to meet. I don't have that issue of thinking that, I'm worried if she going, you know, somebody going to try to come up and get her and blah, 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 blah. That's not me. That's not the mentality that I have. So, that's not my case. It might be some other people's case, but I just want her to be safe. And at the same token, I don't want her to willingly paint a picture for someone else to go somewhere else in their mind with my wife. Because then I might have to go somewhere else with them physically. And then, you know, it'd be a whole situation.
But that is true, because someone tried to talk to me in the gas station, and I said I was married, and he looked in the car and was like, he not here though, right? Is he? I was like, boy, if you don't get out of here. Anyway, like, what is going on in the world today? I can't, I mean, literally, you looked in my car. Like, if you don't get back to your car and do what you're doing.
You got him in there. What's up?
So we had some comments. He is a truck driver. Oh, she's talking about her husband. Mm-hmm. He's a truck driver, so he's always gone. I don't want him worrying about what is going on while he's gone. So I act, think, and speak in a way to represent him when he's gone. And he always will say, I know no one can turn you from me. I'm even careful about who I hang with. Excellent. About who you hang with. We're going to talk about that another day. Who you hang with. Because who you hang with is a big impact. I don't care what y'all say. Right. Who you hang with has a big impact on who you are or who you become. Big Very impact
true.
On it.
Very true.
In your relationship and in your personal life as well. Next, some people make those posts talking about the selfie post, looking for the attention of someone else that their spouse isn't giving. That's true. And they need to say, if you were giving me this attention, well, they don't need to say it like that. But basically, y'all know what I'm saying. You need to find a way to communicate that. Okay? Because it's no good on this social media. Because people will go for it on there. Most of the time, it's the trust of others, not necessarily within each other. Good. That's what you just talked about, right?
Right.
That was good. Y'all rolling with us tonight. So true. Men love when they have a woman that others desire, but he knows she is his. Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Once we got married, I always ask, how does he feel about certain clothing, whether we're together or not? And that's good. But y'all see, we don't have a lot of women on here chiming in about that, right? Because everybody want to get married and still live the single life. Well, that's not the way it is. And so for my people, my favorite people, my engaged people, when you get married, you married.
Right.
You ain't living single. You living married. And so married is communicating about different things that you never had to do that before. You never had to worry about some of this stuff before because it was just you. But now when you go into this relationship, you have to be concerned. And when you're saying dress for success, how, not just your clothes, but your talk, your what you're doing when you're out. Are you representing the relationship? Just like, are we representing God? Just like, are we putting on that whole armor of God before we leave out the door, and representing the kingdom well while we're out? You have to feel the same way about, I tell my children, are you representing Bevins well? Because some things Bevins won't do. And what you out there doing? And your instructors know who we are. So are you representing us well?
Right.
They know when that don't look like something you got from home. Not that we're perfect, but are you representing that well? Before I got married, my maiden name was Howard. Was I representing the Howard name well when I left out the house? That was something you have to worry about. So are you representing the name that you wanted, that you married into, or the person that you got with? Are you representing your relationship well? Men and women, are we representing, no matter what you have on, are you dressing everything, your talk, your walk, your physical, your mental, your emotional, for the relationship that you're in? Or are you going with the flow wherever you are? Or if this how we talk at work, then this how I do, I got a work husband, work wife. I'm not into that.
Right.
I'm not into that. You're not my work husband, wife, nothing. I'm not into that. Right. I have one husband.
Amen.
Right.
Okay. So what are you doing? Is what you're doing acceptable when you walk through your doors, or all of a sudden you have to switch up? I think I talked about this on a show before, probably last year sometime. Like, are you the same person that you are at home with your spouse? When you get to work, are you that person? Right. Are you still dressed for your relationship, or are you doing something different? So this is just, we had a lot to say and we didn't get to it all. But this is just not just about your dress, but it's also about your conduct when you're not with your spouse.
Yep. So that's what we have for tonight, guys. We're out of time, but we're not out of information.
to the
So
Couples Corner
tune in with us
Team
next
Bevins.
week,
We're
and we
grateful
will
that you stopped by and
have
shared
some
your
more
time
conversations,
with us
some more
tonight. We
dialogue to
look
talk
forward
about.
seeing you again
So we look forward to
next
seeing
week
you
at
guys
9
next
p.m.
week in the Couples
And
Corner.
feel
Thank
free
y'all
to share
for
this on your
joining
page
and
with any of your people
continue to
who
be
would
prosperous in
benefit
your
from this
relationships.
conversation.
Yes.
We're grateful
We appreciate
that you
you
shared
guys.
your time with us. And now we've got to go, but we look forward to connecting with you again here on the Couples Corner with Team Bevins.
The Couples Corner with Team Bevins.
Peace.
Peace.
Love and